What is up, my dudes and dudettes? It's a rainy day outside. I'm not working. Can't really do too many projects outside, so I figured I'd introduce you to all the new snakes and share with you some of my future plans with these snakes. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, but before we get started, one last thing. If you don't want to miss out on any of their growth, see how big they get, see the offspring that I produce from them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on any of the journey. But let's start with this guy first. And actually he just shed, and on top of that, he's all fired up right now, which I didn't even know this about retics, but they can go through pretty dramatic color changes based on, I guess, their hormones and their mood or whatever causes it. But right now, his yellows, I guess you could call it, his yellows and greens, it's kind of more like a brown, but it's super light and fired up right now. He's looking really pretty. But anyways, this is a 37.5% Calatoa Super Dwarf Reticulated Python. So quick little background on Super Dwarfs. They don't get as big as their mainland counterparts. So basically off the coast of Indonesia, there's a whole chain of these smaller islands where these certain localities like Calatoas, Jampayas, Salayers, Madu, there's like a Maluku island chain or something. I don't know all the different islands. Oh, Ternates, that's another one. You get these smaller localities of retics. Now, based on the percentage of locality that's been bred into this particular animal, can help determine what size it's going to be when it's full grown. So being that this guy's 37.5% Super Dwarf and he's a male, I'm hoping he stays pretty small, but the industry standard to be considered a super dwarf is at least 50% super dwarf. I did not know that when I bought him, so that's another reason why I'm making this video. If you're interested in a super dwarf, don't buy anything lower than 50% super dwarf. Even 50% super dwarfs can still, the females, I've seen pictures of 12 feet in length. So, there are a lot of people working with really small bloodlines out there to make them smaller and smaller and smaller. Like, for example, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, and a couple other guys really working on keeping these guys super small. So just make sure you get your super dwarf from a reputable breeder if you're really looking for a snake to stay like under the 10-foot mark. Now 10 feet might sound big to you, but retics are very slender snakes. So a 10-foot retic that's not overweight isn't that big of a snake. They're still a formidable animal. You shouldn't get it. You know, if a bigger snake intimidates you or scares you, definitely not the snake for you. But if you get it as a young yearling or hatchling like this guy's a year old, then you can grow with the snake and you learn the snake's mannerisms and tempers and all his different moods and all that, and that way you know your snake very well before you have a 10-foot snake on your hands. So definitely get it as a hatchling and grow with the snake. But anyways, so he's a 37.5% Calatoa. So that means the remaining 62.5% of his bloodline is from a mainland retic. He's also het anery and het piebald, or het pied. And I really love pied snakes, so that's why I got him. Being that pied is a recessive gene, I will have to pair him with a female who's also het pied or who's a visual pied in order to produce pied offspring. So that's the plan. I need to get him a lady. Don't have her yet, but yeah, that's the plan for him. I don't have a name for him yet. I got my helper with me here, West. Come on over, West. He's helping to wrangle these snakes for me. If you don't know about retics, they love to move and they love to climb. So they're always on the move. They're actually really fun to interact with. But this guy also doesn't meet the 50% mark. This guy here is 25% Calatoa, 9.34% Jampaya. And he is a white phase albino, motley tiger.
Do you like to see all the orange and like the purple?
Yeah. Here, let me trade snakes with West real quick so I can bring him up close to the camera.
Yeah, because this snake is really pretty.
Yeah. Got him?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a white albino motley tiger. So a motley is, don't quote me on all this stuff, guys. I'm learning all the new morphs, but I believe motley kind of helps to turn all these, the pattern going down the dorsal of their back, kind of brings the pattern up to the top, to the dorsal, and kind of rounds out the reticulated pattern going down their back. And then a tiger has these really long, elongated rosettes going down the side. Now, being that he's a white phase albino, maybe it's not picking up that great on camera. Let's see. So these right here, let me get up his body more. Okay, these right here are the rosettes. So see how elongated they are compared to, let's show you this guy up close.
This guy.
See the size of his rosettes? They're just kind of like these little white dots. So again, don't quote me on this. I'm still learning the morphs, but I believe that is one of the main features of a tiger are these elongated rosettes, which is really pretty. But this is just a super beautiful snake. I love albino snakes. You can get a lot of different color albino retics. You can get white phase, lavender phase, purple phase, and then I believe you got your mochinos and your Indo caramels and all these crazy different forms of albinism. Really cool snakes. Again, I don't have breeding plans with this guy. He's just a pet for now. Maybe in the future we'll find a female who's het albino or visual albino like he is to breed him to. But
Yeah, to make snows.
well, if you have an animal that's het anery, I believe, and you breed it with a het albino, that'll make snows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I really don't want to just throw snakes together and make more retics. There's a lot of retics already on the market. That's not my plan. I have very specific projects that I want to do. So, as for this guy being albino, I don't have any plans for him. We'll see if that changes in the future. All right, I'm saving the best for last, you guys. I got 2 more retics in the garage I'm going to go grab for you right now to check out. They are the ones I'm most excited about because they are the ones I want to reproduce the most, because when you pair these two together that I'm about to show you, you create my all-time favorite retic morph. Let's go grab them so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, this is my only female out of the bunch. She is a 50% Kalatoa Phantom Granite Back. And I'm not sure how well it picks up on camera, but she is significantly larger than those 2 males that you've seen so far. Now, they're all the same age, but she is about 50% thicker than they are, and she's at least 6 inches longer than they are. So even though she has higher percentage super dwarf influence than those 2 males, she's still bigger than they are. So that just goes to show how much bigger the females can get. And for good reason. They have to produce eggs and give birth. So they need to be bigger in order to be able to handle that. I'm really excited about this girl because she is one of the components that I need in order to make my favorite reticulated python morph, which is a cow. Just like this rug on the wall up here. Now, if you take
And the cow chair.
Oh, and the cow chair. Yeah, they look more, a cow retic looks more like this chair right here when they're adults. So, believe it or not, if you take this snake here, a phantom reticulated python, and breed it with an orange ghost stripe or a het orange ghost stripe, then the offspring produced will be cows. I believe 50% of the offspring will be cows.
And every time they said they get more spots.
Yeah, just like Wes just said, they'll be born a pure white snake. They'll look like a leucistic snake, but every time they shed, as they get older, they get more and more spots on them. It's really incredible how that works. They're really cool looking when they're adult snakes, and that is going to be the breeding project that I pursue the most. And I want to just make sure I do all the proper pairings, and I don't want to just produce a bunch of random retics. I want to produce cows specifically, and I want to make some of the best cows out there, hopefully in the future. So,
and you want to make super dwarfs.
Yeah. So cows being my favorite retic morph, that's what I want to do. I want to create super dwarf cows so that they're more available to people who aren't interested in a 20-foot long snake. They can get maybe an 8 to 10 foot long snake that looks like a cow. So again, she's a phantom granite back 50% Calotoa. All right, I'm gonna go put this pretty little girl back and go get the male orange ghost stripe that I'm gonna be pairing her to in order to make those cows. And he is an incredible snake, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go grab him right now. He's a stud. He's a mainland. He has 0 super dwarf influence, or he has 0 super dwarf genetics in him. So he's a big boy. He's already 2 years old. Let me go grab him. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I gotta make it quick with this guy because last time I made a video with him, he wasn't too happy and he unleashed pee all over me. It was disgusting.
I think we should pop up that video.
So this is the other piece of the puzzle in order to make cows. So believe it or not, this dude paired with that female I just showed you will make pure white snakes that develop into cows as they age each time they shed, like I mentioned. So this is a mainland male. He is an orange ghost stripe, golden child, and he's het genetic stripe. He is a beautiful snake. I mean, he is just incredible looking. Look at that. Look at that bright yellow head.
Oh God, he's
I love that about him.
He's a sewed on your hat.
Yeah. Where is he? Right here. Look at that bright yellow head. Now, let me see if I can get him. A lot of people in the retic hobby really love the yellow heads. I can understand why. It is super cool.
And beautiful.
And beautiful. But check him out, guys. He's about 6, maybe 7 feet long. He's about as thick around as my arm. And he's a pretty sweet boy. I was just getting him out right now and he was hissing at me and bucking the hook a little bit, but he doesn't strike or bite yet. So maybe when he's all fired up and ready to breed, he might. But right now, he's a chill dude. Like I said, I'm gonna go put him back before he pees on me and the carpet. So I'm gonna put him back. I'll grab another snake and we'll finish the video.
He's on the moon. I'm trying to get them to see the head.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna go put him back. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe so that you can see these guys grow. And in a couple years when I have hatchlings ready to go, you can grab one from me. I'll have a morph market page and all that stuff set up by then. Go ahead and follow me over on Instagram too. It's at Brian, B-R-I-A-N _ Crotalus, C-R-O-T-A-L-U-S. That's the scientific name for the rattlesnake species. So Brian Crotalus over on Instagram. Follow me over there. I'll post a lot of updates and reels and stuff over there too. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. I do plan on getting a pure super dwarf female here in the very near future, so I can take that mainland male, breed him to her, produce 50% super dwarf offspring. I could also take those 37% males and breed them to her to produce even higher percentage offspring, just to keep the super dwarf numbers higher and keep the snakes smaller. That's the goal. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Bye. These are definitely the coolest snakes in. This is definitely my favorite snake because you see like that it's like circles and then it like turns into zigzags. Is that cool? Like grows to something. And they're definitely really pretty. I really like all the iridescence on them too. Right, Dad?
Oh, I love the iridescence. And they're just very active and they like to climb.
Yeah.
And it's really cool watching them climb up your arm like he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Oh. They throw those coils around and lock their tail in before they move up the next rung on the ladder. It's really cool. And so far, these two have been really, really sweet. They haven't struck at all. They haven't bit anybody. They're not even like very cage defensive or anything. You can just get them right out, huh?
Yeah.
I've just been tap training them. Basically, you just take your hook and rub the top of their head for a second before you put your hand in to get them out. And that just signals to them that it's not time to eat, it's time to be handled. So it's really important to do when they're young, because as they grow, if you have a snake that thinks every time the cage opens it's time to eat, that can be a dangerous situation when you have a 10 or 12 foot python in a cage, right?
Yeah, because if you overfeed it and they're really big, they could totally just do this.
Yep. And I heard they have really sharp teeth when they're older, so they can if they bite you, they can light you up. They can send you to the hospital if you have a 10-foot snake that bites you.
So we're going to try to not overfeed them and make them be this big, right?
Now we're going to feed them every 10 days.
Yeah.